So the Green Bay Packers pulled off the upset 26-20 on Christmas Day, beating the Miami Dolphins. And now for a team that just a few weeks ago looked like all hope was lost, sitting there at 4-8, there was debate as to whether or not the Packers should move to Jordan Love to finish the season to get him some experience. And now with just 2 weeks remaining, the Packers have come in here and beat the Miami Dolphins 26-20 in Miami in a game that many people didn't really think the Packers had a chance. Aaron Rodgers has a pretty solid day. The defense comes up huge, especially in the fourth quarter, and pulls off the victory. And so now for the Packers to make the playoffs, they pretty much just need to win out. Then they either need the Commanders to lose one game of the final two, or the Giants can lose 2 games. So just a couple weeks ago, just this past week, lots of things yesterday went our way with the Commanders losing, the Seahawks losing as well. And so right now, with the Packers beating the Dolphins, they have a real shot to make the playoffs. And a few weeks ago, we knew the Packers had a chance. They needed to win out. But with the way the Packers had been playing, the way they struggled on offense, the way the defense was consistently just giving up, big games to other teams, it really seemed like I just don't know if they're able to actually win out. And now, with the performance we saw today, I think this is a Packers team that can make the playoffs. We saw what they did against a very talented Miami Dolphins team. And if we do win our final 2 games and everything else goes our way, it really seems like, honestly, the way we're playing, that we have a chance come playoff time. So that is very exciting considering we had that 5-game losing streak at that one time, losing to the Jets, losing to the Commanders, losing to the Giants. And so right now, as a Packers fan, it's pretty exciting to see the Packers now sitting at 7-8, and our final 2 games are at Lambeau Field. So I want to talk about this Dolphins-Packers game. And going into this game, we knew that the Dolphins had a very explosive offense. And I thought, and many people thought, that for the Packers to win this game, we would probably need to put up 30-plus points. And the way the first half was looking with the Dolphins in the first half, with a few minutes remaining, up 20-10 with the ball, it really seemed like the Packers may have to keep trying to catch up. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. The way the defense was playing, there was that massive 84-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle. There was another 50-something-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. The Packers defense was, especially the first few drives, getting torched on offense. Waddle, got behind both Amos and Rudy Ford on a huge gain. They were moving the ball consistently, running the ball very well. And I was wondering, I was like, man, if the defense can't start holding up, it's going to be tough for the Packers to fight their way back into this one. But I think probably the biggest moment in the game, the most crucial moment of this game, was with about 2 minutes left, 20-10. The Dolphins fumble the ball, Jaron Reed recovers, and the Packers get into field goal range, kick a field goal, which puts them up 20-13. It really seemed like at that moment, the momentum was so highly in the Dolphins' favor, and that field goal really changed things, because if they hadn't fumbled that ball, if they had moved the ball down the field with 2 minutes remaining, had either kicked a field goal or scored a touchdown, it would have been 23-10 or 27-10 going into halftime, and that is a much harder margin to come back from. Instead, the Packers get 3 points, putting them only down 7, getting the ball back in the second half. And in the first drive of the second half, the Packers offense moves down the field, a huge play to Mercedes Lewis, like a 30-yard play, and then the Packers score a touchdown, puts them up, or ties the game 20-20. Then the Dolphins push down, miss a field goal, which that was amazing. That was great. The Packers kick a field goal. They're up 23-20. And then we enter the fourth quarter, and Aaron Rodgers, throws an interception. But then right after that, Tua throws an interception, which gives the Packers the ball back. And to see what this defense was able to do in, the second half in general, the fact that the Dolphins put up 20 points in the first half. They were having explosive plays, running the ball very well. The second half, they put up 0 points. The Packers defense in the fourth quarter had 3 interceptions, one by Jair, the first one, another by Devondre, and then an interception by Rasul Douglas to finish off the game. And so I think when you look at the 2 halves, it was just a tale of 2 halves, especially for Tua. He was throwing dimes the entire first half, throwing some really nice deep balls. And then the second half, he was just off, especially the fourth quarter. All 3 of those interceptions, just bad throws. One of the receivers was, maybe ran the wrong route, but still a bad throw nonetheless. And so I think when you look at this Packers team, at times they give up some big plays. At times our defensive line doesn't come through. We get run on. But to see, the way that we responded in the second half after really getting picked apart in the first half, that gives me hope not just for this game, but the next 2 games going into the playoffs, because there's so many talented offenses in the NFL. There's so many talented players, quick players, and you're not going to stop a team every single time. And I think it's about getting those stops, especially in the red zone, which the Packers did in this game, holding them to a couple field goals, and then also forcing turnovers, which early in the season the Packers didn't really do much of. But if this Packers defense can start forcing turnovers as they did against the Dolphins, it gives me a lot more hope and excitement going forward. For this Packers team, and I feel like that's the kind of thing you want going into the playoffs, to have the defense playing like they did, with the energy, especially in the second half. And then for the Packers offense, we put up 26 points, which gave us a 6-point win. And in this game, the Packers offense was pretty inconsistent at times. The first couple of drives, they moved the ball somewhat well, but in the red zone, couldn't really convert. I think we had 2 touchdowns in the red zone out of 5 attempts. Aaron Rodgers in the first half, there were a few moments he was looking off, some odd misses. That one, I think 4th and 2, misses Christian Watson, could have been a touchdown. The offense played a little bit inconsistent at times, but still, Aaron Rodgers was able to come through, have a pretty solid day overall. Take a look at his stats. 24 of 38, so 38 passes, 238 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 78.6 passer rating. And then if we look at the Packers running game, it was really tough to run against this Dolphins front because they were stacking tons of guys up in the box, which I think is why the Packers threw the ball so many different times. But in this game, 25 carries for 79 yards, only averaging 3.2 yards per carry. And so it was mainly the passing game getting the job done. Lazard, 5 receptions, 61 yards. Christian Watson, 6 receptions, 49 yards. And Christian Watson goes down with an injury, which he missed pretty much, if not all of the second half with that injury. Romeo Doubs, 3 receptions, 36 yards. And so I think when you sort of look at this game overall, obviously right now the Packers having won 3 in a row, we are now sitting at 7-8. As I said earlier, we had lots of different things go our way. So now we just need to win our final 2 games and have one more thing go our way. The Commanders losing, which definitely could happen now. And this Packers team just feels different. Sure, we're not playing perfectly, but no team is ever going to play, 100% perfect game. But Aaron Rodgers looks confident out there. The Packers passing game is much more alive than it was early in the season. Christian Watson has played much better. And if Aaron Rodgers would have been a little more accurate in the first half, it could have been 33-20 instead because Christian Watson was open on that play. So to see the Packers playing as they are right now in the time of the season where it matters most, I think it's very promising for this Packers football team heading home for the final 2 games of the season against the Vikings, against the Lions. And I feel like there's no reason we can't beat any team in the league because, yes, as I said, the defense gets burned at times, but we also come in at times, make some big stops, get some interceptions. And if this Packers defense can play as they did today, if the Packers offense can continue to improve on the offensive side of the ball and hopefully get a little bit more consistent, then I think that this is a Packers team that is going to be dangerous come playoff time if we are able to, finish off the last 2 weeks strong. But to beat a Dolphins team who has one of the most explosive, talented offenses in the NFL, to hold them to 0 in the second half and pull off the win, it's huge for the Packers going forward. So those are my quick thoughts on the game. I'll be out with more thoughts throughout the week, looking ahead to the Vikings. I think the Vikings are next, coming up to Lambeau Field, which is a huge game. These games are all pretty much playoff games in a way for the Packers because we have to win. And so it's sort of fun that we're in that atmosphere already. Must-win games, and the Packers have won the last 3 after starting 4-8. So I'm feeling pretty good right now about the Packers, especially after that performance. I'm guessing you are too, but I hope all you guys had a Merry Christmas. I will be back later this week with some more videos, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.